welcome to this edition of Prep Sports Night Live. I'm Rich Estrella, along with Coach Ricci. Thank you for joining us. We're at Rockin' Brews Tustin. Show sponsored in part by Suzuki Motorsports and Ream.
Thanks for having
Products. Yes, hey, Coach, thank you for joining us tonight. Bob Gibson's going to be away tonight. Steve Calhoun will join us in a little bit. On the show later, we're going to be talking about the big game that happened last Friday night with Millikan and Long Beach Poly. For the first time since 1973, it looks like Millikan's going to win a league title.
Wow.
Amazing. Long time, Coach, 51 years. Think about that. Hey, it only took you 1 year. It's last year. Hey. Hey, Coach.
Hey, we've had a good run.
We got Coach Ricci here. He's from Irvine High School in Irvine. And, Coach, got to ask you, I ask every coach starting out when they come in, you got a new format now. You were league champ last year. You were the boss. Now they take everybody out. You're in with a bunch of new people or some new people. How do you like the format? How do you like what's going on? Everybody has different opinions.
You know, my biggest issue with it, I think, it has to be the fact that we tend to lose all of our rivalries. You know, we had a city league before, and the city league was important to us. We had great draws. We had these rivalries. The kids knew each other.
Right.
It just made for a great league for us. So to me, that's the disappointing part. You know, the cool new part is getting an opportunity to play these new teams and see what we can really do. You know?
Yeah, but you know, like you said, the Irvine thing, you know, that's like a brotherhood in this town because Irvine's a pretty big city.
Right.
No doubt. Used to be all agriculture up until like the late 80s, early 90s. Then it just started building.
Right.
And they're still building. I think they're just about done, though. But 10 high schools, 11? I don't know how many high schools total, but there's probably at least 8
right.
that I can name off the top of my head in Irvine. So, I mean, that's a lot of crosstown rivals.
Sure. And that also basically cuts into our enrollment. We're the smallest school in Irvine's district with about 1,800.
Think about that.
Yeah. So, you know, you figure their first initial cut was when they went and they split Irvine into Northwood, right? That split the school into two. Then they went ahead and paired off with Portola. And then that was another cut. And then Beckman, that's another cut. So we just keep getting smaller and smaller, but we're still able to kind of maintain our position in Orange County somehow, you know. It's not easy. It's not easy to do.
So is it safe to say you're going to augment your preseason schedule? You're going to load it up with some of your traditional rivals from your former league?
And that's what we tried to do. We had Northwood, we had Woodbridge, we had Portola. So we're trying to keep them going so we can still have those rivalries going on.
And those rivalries are good for the student body because, you know, it gets everybody out. I mean, both sides. And believe it or not, that money goes back to the schools, all right?
Right.
It's their school. You're hosting it. You guys got to pay fees for, you know, custodial, lights, and all that. But for the most part, you know, it's those rivalries mean something when you have a lot of fans coming.
Sure.
A couple grand per gate means a lot.
And no one ever talks about the gate.
Oh, I do.
It's like when they did that and we lost like a uni, for example.
Yep.
When Uni and Irvine played, the gate was gigantic because we went ahead and had a big draw. And people think that football gets the gate, and we don't. Athletics gets the gate.
Right.
So when we have a lower gate, the whole school takes a hit. All the sports programs.
I remember I was an ASB president in high school back in the 70s, and I remember the principal driving it home to us in cabinet meetings. As goes football season, as goes the school year. If you have a good football season, there'll be a lot of money.
Right,
if you don't, you guys are going to have to really dig to keep everybody involved throughout the school year.
Sure.
And I'm sure it still holds true today.
It does. It totally does.
It's the biggest team sport. You got a lot of families coming out, a lot of friends coming out. Everybody wants to see football. It's just the way it is. So that's good. Now, Coach, let me ask you this now.
Sure.
Your team this year, everything's new. Right now, you're sitting in the top of this league right now, aren't you?
Yeah, we're tied for first. We're 2-0 in league and 5-2 overall.
Right. So I know everybody. It's still bunching up. You got what? 3 more games to go.
3 more games, and it's our tough 3.
Yeah, that's it. So things will pretty much met out in a couple of weeks
yeah.
here. Let's talk about your ball club.
Sure.
Go ahead. Describe it. Who are they?
Who are they? Well, you know, we started. When we started off, we were kind of finding ourselves week 1. And we had a couple transfers who came in and a couple kids who came back to the program. And I feel like we've been kind of driving and tweaking and changing, and we're starting to kind of hit our stride right now. We're on a 3-game win streak, and I feel like we're in a good spot. You know, running the ball well. Our running back Figgy is number one in Orange County this last week with about 340 yards
Wow.
on the ground. He broke our school record with 6 touchdowns. Ran back 2 incredible kickoffs, one for 99 yards. Our receiver Deacon Moss is two touchdowns last game. He plays a cornerback as well. Blocked a PAT the week before. Had an interception for a touchdown. Picked up a ball for a touchdown. Catches 2 touchdowns. He's all over the place doing stuff.
Wow.
And our QB Koa Bowie bounced back from an ACL injury last season, and it looks like he's back to form. So our defense really kept us in the last game. So I think we're peaking at the right time.
You must have a good offensive line. I mean, if there's somebody to get 300 yards.
Oh yeah.
Plus, I mean, there's got to be a hole here and there. Nobody just does that without some blocking up front.
No, our guys are doing a great job. Like I said, they're starting to gel together.
Right.
At first, we struggled that first week, and when these guys came in and we started piecing them together, and now they're getting healthy again, and we're getting there, and they're doing a hell of a job for us.
What's going on this week with you guys? Who do you got?
We got El Toro. All
right.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough matchup for us. We know that, but this is our chance to kind of really show what we can do.
Yeah. Well, you got to play them all, right? They're on
Yeah.
your schedule. Take them one at a time, and that's the only way most coaches look at it. It's one game at it. It's always the next game. It's just the next game.
We always say that the most important game is our next game.
Now, coming into your new league, I guess it's kind of hard to gauge where you might fit in because everybody is. Well, you took a couple with you, but you still have a lot of new schools in this league. You
Sure.
don't really know a whole lot of. You can read about them. You know they're Orange County. You got an idea what's happening, but you don't know because you probably haven't played them.
Right. We actually had played a couple of them so far. So we played Canyon previously, we played Troy previously, and Sonora previously. It's like in our games with Troy, we beat them out of the last 3 years. We beat them by 1 point. 2 years, they beat us by a touchdown 1 year. Our games are always a dogfight, and we know it. So we go into they're great football games too. It's great high school football.
And it doesn't matter if they're under athleticized. They got that mentality. They're just smart
Right.
kids, man. They absorb all that stuff.
Right. And our kids do. We just keep building.
Yeah.
And our kids sometimes will go like, hey, what if we reverse that? I go, let's give it a shot, see how it works.
Yeah.
And they go, can we reverse pass it? I'm like, fine. You guys know the route combos. I go, let's see if it works. And so the kids feel like they have some kind of say in what's happening on the field. And our kids know the game. We try to teach them the game so they understand. And our kids come in and they will make great coaches when they're older.
Well, you can tell the kids that have had coaching prior to coming into high school at the quarterback position because they're so calm and there's a lot less coaching you have to do. I mean, you really don't. I mean, you probably skip 2-3 years by having a kid like that come in. Not to get crazy, but modern day just seems to recruit those kids every year.
Every year.
They lose a Bryce Young, they bring in another guy. They lose a Matt Barkley, they bring in another guy. I mean, but those guys come in with skill sets already.
Right.
Skill sets of a junior or senior quarterback of your average high school kid at the local high school, simply because he didn't have that coaching.
Right.
So. Hey, they want us to take a quick break. We're going to go over to John Conti's going to read some of our sponsors right now. John, go ahead.
Well, first and foremost, what a night. We have Irvine High School in the house. Welcome the Vaqueros. I'd like to thank Suzuki for making this possible. Check them out at Suzuki.com. Water Heater Warehouse. They are there for you if you have an emergency. The waterheaterwarehouse.com. Check them out as well. And Ream, the new degree of comfort. Can't do these things without our sponsors. We are very grateful. Let's not forget the folks at Lighthouse Escrow in Irvine, serving realtors throughout the state of California. That's Lighthouse Escrow. And Coastal Capital Funding, strategic, loyal, and urgent. Check them out at gocoastalcapital.com. And of course, Colosso Tax Service. We can't forget our good friend Ruben Colosso at Colosso Tax Service. Check him out at colossotaxservice.com. And of course, Pelican Sky Candle Company, Life's a Beach, light a candle. Check them out at pelicanskycandleco.com. And of course, we can't be doing what we're doing without the kind folks at Rock and Brews. Thank you to Stephanie and everybody at Rock and Brews. We are having a great time on the patio. I just want to remind all of our listeners and all of our viewers to please follow us on social media. Especially check out the Armed and Danger Quarterbacks. That's our man, Steve Calhoun. All right, we just went through all of our sponsors. Again, we have the Vaqueros in the house. Rich, I'm going to throw it back to you and Tom.
All right, thank you, John. Appreciate it, and appreciate all our sponsors that bring shows like this on the air, and also games like last week's, Millikan and Long Beach Poly. All right, talking with Coach Ricci, the head coach over at Irvine. We're just discussing his team, new league changes. You know, we talk to coaches all the time. And Coach, one of the big problems that the coaches have with the new format, again, is that the teams that have 4 teams in their league, where do you get that next game from?
That's tough. I mean, we actually had a contract that just ended. Most teams took 2-year contracts this last year, so we're not even going to be able to find a team for that game because most teams are like, yeah, we have 1 more year on our contract, and we just had the one that came up. So, you know, it's not easy. It's a weird format the way they did this, and they kind of threw us into it.
Why don't you just look into Europe and go like Concord de la Salle did yesterday? They played in Europe.
Well, I've had a couple parents have been like, we're going to Hawaii. We're going to Hawaii. I said, like, if you guys can put it together, we'll go to Hawaii.
Well, I'm going to tell you, a couple of coaches have mentioned what a problem it was. The guy at Norwalk, Coach Guerrero, was talking about how he had to take a game. San Diego, somebody from San Diego called him and said, hey, you want to play? They called him on a Monday.
Right.
Says, you guys want to play Friday?
Yeah, it happens.
Coach said, yeah, we'll play you. Do you want us to come down or you come up? They go, we'll come up. They go, we called you, we'll come up. So they did. They came up and they played. They got it worked out. He thought he was just going to go 9 games this season. He had no choice. He called everybody in town.
Right, and it's difficult. It's like I'm already starting to make calls for next year, find out how we're going to be able to figure this out. Again, it's just not easy. You know, with all the teams being booked, you got to take what's left.
Latter Day's looking for a game.
I know.
Listen, if Lara had that job early on, he had it in spring ball, he'd have had a game. Trust me, he'd have had a game. And he said it won't happen. Now that it's not going to happen, but yeah, but it just goes to show it's everybody. It's not just It's not just the average schools or the neighborhood schools. It's also the private big schools, the number 1 teams in the country, the number 2s, the number 5s. Everybody's got that issue, right?
Right. And you know what's funny is when I first started coaching at Irvine back in the 90s, we actually played Mater Dei.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we lost to them 35-30, if you can believe it. Yeah. Irvine. And most people don't know that we played them.
What year was that?
That was 94, 95.
Mater Dei wasn't quite Mater Dei what they have been.
Oh, they were national champions that year.
Oh, were they that
year?
They
were national champions that year.
I remember St. Paul used to whip them every year, man. Rawlinson would have fits.
Oh, yeah.
We televised those games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Bruce would be fit to be tied, man. But, hey, that's football, and that's how you get on
That's
top. You stay in tension. Keep an eye on everything. He doesn't want anybody around when he's talking to the refs. It's like, knock it off.
Right.
It's a game, man. Come
Right,
on. What are we going to tell anybody? We're in the game right now. But anyways, yeah, that's one of the biggest complaints I had, though, because they didn't have time to procure another game.
Right.
And it hurts everything. Again, we talk about the gate. We talk about the money they lose by not having a game.
Sure.
It costs a lot. So there should have been a little bit better planning. Should have been a little bit well thought out. Because if you look at it, it doesn't matter what league you play in. Because, like, for instance, the Gateway League, I don't think any of the 5 schools or 6 schools in that league played in the same division in the playoffs.
Right.
Warren, Downey, Mayfair with the state finals, have an all-state quarterback. I mean, everybody went, but they all went different divisions. So does it really matter?
Right. Well, see, that's kind of the thing.
You just have to win 5 games.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's kind of the big thing. It's actually taken away from a league title, I feel like. You know, that if you win a league title, it doesn't mean as much as it used to mean. Because you used to get the first place team. I mean, we went 10-0 2 years ago, and it won only 3 teams in the county. They went 10-0, and we had to drive 2.5 hours for our first playoff game.
Wow.
So you know, it doesn't mean anything like it used to, where you're the league champ, you draw a 3rd place team, and you know you can get that win.
Yeah.
You may get another first place team that's really tough.
Yeah, you don't know who you're going to get.
Sure.
I mean, you really don't, and that's the big problem with a lot of people. Conte, you ready? Hey, before we get you, who's John standing over there with, Coach?
Number 3 is Koa Bowie, our QB, and number 14 is Deacon Moss, our wide receiver cornerback.
All righty. All right, John, take it away.
Rich, Coach, it is my pleasure to be standing here with these gentlemen. Of course, Irvine High starting quarterback right here. And, of course, starting wide receiver to my left, Deacon Moss. All right, Coach, let's talk about you for a minute. Been at Irvine High 4 years. You're the starting quarterback. I feel like you don't have to throw a ton of passes because you have such a good running game. But when you do, they always seem to find their way in the end zone. We were talking about your stats earlier. I think every third pass is a touchdown. What are you doing to find these guys in the end zone all the time?
I mean, my line is just giving me enough time always. And then our receivers, there's always finding a way to get open. So it's pretty much kind of easy to find Deacon or anyone when I got a good line giving me the time and then receivers finding the space.
And you can tell he's a true team leader. He's thanking his offensive line. He's thanking his teammates. I also understand you have a 3.7 GPA. I always like to call attention to that. What are your plans after high school?
I want to go to college. I want to go into finance and then just try to get a degree.
That's amazing. Well, hey, 3.7 GPA. You're having one heck of a football year. You guys are undefeated in the league. Keep it up. Keep it going. Now to my left, I've got someone here that needs probably no introduction. This is Mr. Deacon Moss. Deacon, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Now, let me just get you familiar with the situation. I've coached against this gentleman before, and I don't like it at all. He's always putting big numbers up on the scoreboard. If I'm not mistaken, didn't you get over how many yards did you get last week?
Last week, I think I had seven catches for like 76 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And when you look at his numbers, he's got multiple games over 100 yards. Deacon, what makes you so good? How are you getting so much separation?
I mean, I've worked with timing with this guy over here since our freshman year, and it's gotten better and better each year. We got great play calls by Coach. We've been working it for so long. And again, like Coach said, our O-line gives him so much time. So when we have 4 or 5 seconds, it makes it easy for me to be able to find work. Yeah.
I also understand you know the great coach Steve Calhoun. I think you did some work with Steve. Give Steve a shout out here. What do you think about Steve?
He's a great coach. My brother did work with him with QB work, and I was out there a lot of hours just catching from them. So I did learn a lot from him.
That's fantastic. And you are one heck of a student yourself. What's your GPA?
I have a 3.9, sir.
Fantastic. And what are your plans after high school?
Well, football first and foremost. I'm trying to play football as long as possible. It's been my dream for as long as I can remember. But also, I've been leaning towards criminal law, so I'm going to try to, play football as long as possible while also getting a degree in criminal law.
That's amazing. Well, Rich, I've got 2 amazing young gentlemen here with fantastic GPAs. Guys, good luck the rest of your season. And before I let you go, I love the shirt and tie look under your uniforms. You guys look amazing. Thank you so much to you two. Rich and Coach, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Coach, tell me about your quarterback a little bit more.
Koa last year went down in Game 3 and tore his ACL and meniscus. So pretty big injury. Had surgery in December, and they were like he's going to be out until probably the end of August. And worked real hard, pushed hard in the weight room. Was constantly working to get back in shape. He's put a ton of effort into getting back to form. And in the last 2 weeks, I feel like he's back. I feel like finally he's back. He's running like he ran before, throwing rockets. Just great kid. Has worked his tail off to get back on the field. So I'm really proud of him and his effort.
He's coming along in a nick of time, man, because you're going to need him. You say for the next 3, right?
Sure.
Who's on pace with you right now? Do you know somebody else has to be 2-0?
Oh well, El Toro. El Toro. El Toro and Troy. We knew when the season started they were going to be 2 of the tough teams we played, and after watching Sonora's not going to be easy either.
Sonora's been pretty good lately.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
So we got Murderers Row coming up, and we know it. But we're up to the challenge.
And Sonora grew up with that beat down every year by La Habra.
Yeah.
Everybody got beat by La Habra every year. Didn't matter. La Habra would start off 0-3 because they play Mater Dei, Bosco, and the Rams to start the season, and then they get into the Freeway League.
Right.
And
Troy beat him last year.
Yeah.
Troy beat him last year, and then Sonora beat Troy.
Oh.
So they all beat each other, and we're all league champs. And I go, so we know this is going to be,
crazy.
It's going to be great games.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, Troy has a great wide receiver, Vandersloot. I mean, he's a monster. You have to watch that kid.
He's a big guy. He gave us fits last year.
Yeah. You got anybody that's half his size that can jump as high as him?
Not his size, but Deacon Moss, number 14, D'd him up last year. And at the end of the game, they needed that score, and we did a pretty good job of defending him. So.
Yeah, but he was only 5'9" last year. He's 6'6" this year, Coach.
He is. It seems like he put on another foot for sure.
He's just a massive guy.
Right.
Man, that game he had was Foothill, 42-41. It was an extra point he came down to, missed.
Right.
Oh, man, just things are crazy.
Yeah.
All right, who's Elwood standing over there with?
That's number 75 is Dylan McCahill. He's our offensive tackle and defensive tackle. And then number 7 is Joe Lynch, our tight end and middle linebacker.
All righty. All right, Elwood, you ready? All righty, let's go.
All right. Talk to me, son. What do you want to hear? What do you like about football?
I love the aggression of football. I just love being able to hit somebody, go across with somebody, and just, tear it up on the field.
So you've been on the varsity team for 3 years. What do you like about your coach?
I just love that he stays consistent. While that's whether or not that's a good thing, I mean, he stays consistent on everything. We know what he's about to do at all times. Whether that's what time we're gonna get out on practice or something like that.
What's the most pleasure you have in playing this football game?
Just getting pancakes on the field.
Pancakes. Make sure we got some of that syrup. All right, my man. Man, hey, you look like the quiet storm. What do you like about your team?
Everything, man. Everyone's got their own personality and they bring their own thing to the table. Like, everyone's special and we all got a part. Even like the practice guys or JV guys, like they really hump us out. Like, they give varsity the best look. So everyone's really got their own role that they fill, which is like, it's awesome. Yeah.
Now, being a varsity player, I know you're a leader because your teammates, they look up to you. What makes you that leader?
I mean, I try to lead by example. Like, when I was a sophomore, junior, I noticed that there would be a lot of seniors or like any varsity leaders who would honestly just be like yelling at people. It never really I never liked it really. So I just try to like be different, lead by example, and like have the young guys someone to look up to, I guess.
I have a question for both of y'all. And either one of you guys can answer it. What is your team goal for this year?
Go as far as we can. Just, keep nailing teams, keep winning, and if that takes us all the way to state, who knows? I mean, we're just going to keep on trying to win, keep on trying to play our game, and just make sure that we can do what we do.
And one more question for you. When you leave this school, what would you like your teammates and your coaches to remember you by?
Honestly, just a hard worker, just like somebody that you could always look back who's always giving it their all. Like, I never want to leave anything on the table. I want everyone to like kind of pick up something that I left when I'm gone. So, yeah, just like consistency, hard work, just that's what I try to go by.
Hey, from what I understand, based on the conversation, both of you guys like the impact of the contact. I think you coaches do a great job. I want to thank you guys for coming out and having this interview with me. Great job. Back to you, Rich.
All right, thanks a lot, Elwood. Man, you got some good-looking kids, man. These guys look like ballers. Seriously.
They're great kids, and they've been busting their tail for years. I'm going to miss them when they're gone.
Yeah. Now, tell me about number 7. You said he hits like a ton of bricks, huh?
Yeah, Joe was our tight end the last couple of years, and we lost some middle linebackers and moved Joe from end to middle linebacker, and he's just been a stud in that position for us right now, just flying around the field. And linebacker is usually a position like you need the years of developing to pick up the guard reads and stuff like that. We read guards in our defense, and he jumped right in. He's been picking it up just on the fly and doing a fantastic job. Led our team in tackles last week, and then caught a big ball for us in this last game as our tight end. Because he's got great hands, big kid, goes up for it.
That's good. That's good. He seems real agile. He doesn't have a lot of weight on him, I'll tell you, for a guy that tall and plays tight end, but that's great, man.
You can't tell when he hits you. He comes downhill hard.
All right, John Conti standing by. Who's he standing by with over there, Coach?
Let's see, we got
26.
Brandon 0 is Brandon Figueroa. We call him Figgy.
Okay.
And then we had Jaden Burke as number 26, another kid who hits 10 times his size.
You know your kids really well. You know their numbers because you can't even see that one kid at the top of his head, and you knew exactly who he was.
Right,
you knew his number. That's great, man.
Yeah, like
Some coaches are looking. They're looking under the thing. I can't see who that is.
That's our boy. You know, it's one of the golden gooses we got. You know, with 6 touchdowns last week. So he can run.
All right, John, take it away.
Again, I'd like to shout out Irvine High School. I mean, you guys are great. We have great GPAs. We have great students over here. We have great athletes. All right, Jaden, let me start with you. You play strong safety, correct?
I do.
Now, I heard rumor is you are the defensive leader on that field. What sets you apart? What makes you the leader of this defense?
Yeah, totally. I think of myself as a defensive leader. I'm a defensive back, right? So I'm in the backfield. I like to command and make sure our team's hype and ready for anything that's coming at us.
Fantastic. You guys are doing a great job on defense this year. Let me ask you a question. What are you going to do after high school?
After high school, I plan on attending college, right? And then trying to get to a UC after that.
And I believe you have a 3.7 GPA?
I do, yeah.
Well, keep it up. You're doing great. And let me jump over here to my left. This is Figgy. Probably needs no introduction. Everybody knows you as Figgy. I want to talk about your numbers from last week. Is it true that you put up over 300 yards rushing on the ground?
I did. It was a great game. Got to thank my line, my quarterback, all my fullbacks, and my tight ends.
This is what makes Irvine High School so great. You guys are so kind to give back to the offensive line because those are the guys that really keep you upright. I mean, I think you averaged 18 yards a carry last game.
Yeah, it was incredible. Just a couple big runs popped, and then some just consistent 10-yard runs here and there, and just ended up great.
Well, you've been consistent all season. Obviously, you're running behind a great offensive line, a great offense. What do you think the outcome's going to be for you guys? I feel like you guys are going really far this season.
I think we're going to be able to compete with the rest of our league. It's a challenging league, but I think we'll be able to go in and compete with them pretty well. And then from there, we'll go on to CIF and hopefully make a deep run, possibly go to state. We'll see.
Well, the only reason why I asked that question is I totally believe in you guys. You guys have a great product, great chemistry on the field. Last question for you. What is your GPA?
I have a 3.85, so it's a pretty good GPA, I think.
This entire school has got, 3.7 or above GPAs. That's also what makes you guys really good on the football field. Not only do you have it physically, but you have it mentally. So congratulations on a great season. Anything you'd like to say before we get out of here?
Let's go get a good win in El Toro. Let's go.
And congratulations for being the player of the week last week as well.
Thank you.
All right, Rich, I'm going to send it back to you. Between these two guys together, they've got, 800 touchdowns over here, 3,000 tackles. I mean, these guys are getting it done. Back to you, Rich and Coach.
Thank you, John. That's it, man. You got the wind and you got the hammer.
That's it. We got the cutest kids on the planet. You wouldn't think they were football players, but man, they ball out when they're on the field.
Those are some stats.
Yeah, definitely. The 6 touchdowns for Figgy was awesome. Jaden Burke, one of our top tacklers, strong safety. Like I said, he looks like a choir boy, but man, he comes downhill hard. He has no regard for his own safety.
Hey, it's got to play with reckless abandon
That's
sometimes.
That's exactly what he is, reckless abandon.
Coach, let me ask you this question because I don't know how pertinent it is right now, but maybe it is. Maybe you guys look at it this way. Not knowing what division you're going to end up in. How weird is that?
It's difficult. We do the math in our heads and we put it on paper and we try and take a look and go, where are we going to end up? And but it's frustrating. Irvine was habitually a Division 10 team from 2000 until probably 22. We've always been Division 10, and then we went 10-0, and they put us in Division 4. So we went from 10 to 4, and that's not easy to do. But we like the challenge. We like the idea of hey, we keep dropping in the rankings, and we're gonna go in and play different teams. It's always interesting. It's always fun.
Yeah. That's the hardest part for a lot of these teams, trying to figure out where they're going to go. Some other coaches have said basically what you said. The only guys that know who's going to be in Division 1 are the guys in Division 1.
Right, exactly.
I mean, pretty much.
Right.
I've been told, though, Mission Viejo is going to end up in Division 2. I don't know how true that. I don't know how anybody would know that, but...
you look at the algorithm and we kind of check and stuff like that. I mean, when we were in Division 4, Poly was in our division.
And that made no sense.
Oh, they have 4,000 kids in their school.
They got 4,700 kids
right,
in that school.
Right. They got
And they split that school in half to get the academias pretty much out of there. Just,
right,
people that weren't in arts and sciences and biology.
People don't realize when a school's got 1,000 more kids, what a difference that makes. If you dropped 1,000 kids in the parking lot, I'm going to find 5 that can play football.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to make us that much better. So.
Yeah. Well, when you go into the Moore League and you do games, and I'm only talking about them now because we were there this last week, but I've been covering everything out here for 40 years now, and Long Beach Poly has always been huge. Millikan's got 4,600, 4,700. Lakewood's pushing 5,000. Lakewood High, that's part of the Long Beach Unified, or it's part of that Moore League. Cabrillo went from like 3,000 to like 4 to 4,500, I think now.
Right.
And that's only been a school for 20 years. I mean, they just loaded up. Where are all these kids coming from?
Right.
Long Beach has been built up.
And that's what we keep talking about is these places got so many kids to pick from, and we just have to take the kids that come our way, you know, and we have to make them into ball players.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm lucky I got the staff that I got.
Yeah, and then you got the people that come and get your best kids. You know, I've talked to a lot of coaches who tell me, Bosco came and got my left tackle, and the guy was 6'5", 320.
Right.
I only have to put him on the right side of the line. I don't need a guard. I don't need a tight end. This guy mows everybody out, and they come get him. So they have trouble, some of the local schools have trouble keeping those kids.
And that's a big frustration for sometimes. Is you're worried about that constantly. We have Crean right next door to us.
Yeah.
So when there's those schools and they're right there, it's tough to keep kids sometimes.
Oh yeah, Crean Lutheran's going to have something going. Hey Larry, can we get a shot of the eaters right now? Coach wants to identify them and talk about them. So we can get a shot of this right now. We can get them to.
You got it.
Yeah, they're trying to get wide on it. So, all right, go ahead and talk about there's 4 of them out there. Start from left to right.
Left to right. All right, so we have a big Kota Sashimo that we call Godzilla.
Godzilla! Raise your hand. That's Godzilla right there. Thank you.
He doesn't say much. You just see he just kind of like waved and nod. That's all he does.
Name, though.
Yeah, that's it.
He knew his name. I only had to yell at once.
And then we have Kevin Blanco next to him.
Kevin. Hey, Kevin. All right. That's big bad Kevin. Kevin looks kind of mean, man. Is he a linebacker?
No, he's a lineman. He's a junior right now. Coda's a sophomore. Big number 50 next to him is Ethan Nisley. He's our center. He's currently, we always say he benches the world and he squats the universe.
Nice.
And then Figgy right next to him, number 0, our running back.
Now, if you're going to handicap this thing, which one of these guys is going to win this thing?
Well, Figgy won our Hot Wings competition 2 years ago.
All right.
So that's why I threw him in with 3 linemen.
Ah. So Figgy's the reigning national champion here among
exactly.
your group here. All right.
Exactly. He's still hounding me for the gift card.
All right. Well, the Troy guys came and they had a defending guy and he got beat.
Oh, really?
So Figgy may not be. I don't know. I hope he's been practicing.
No,
there's pressure.
Definitely.
That's pressure here to get this done.
And to go against Coda. Coda's guy. He's the odds-on favorite.
This lives in infamy on the internet, so it's going to be interesting. All right, Elwood, it's all yours.
Thank you, Rich. Fellas, this is my favorite part of the night. Chicken wing eating contest. My job is to give y'all 30 seconds. Y'all job is to get to the gristle. Now, the winner, as you know, gets $25 gift card from Rockin' Brews. I got Big Man Coda, I got Kevin, I got Squat the World, and I got Figgy back in town. So when I say go, give me 30 seconds on the clock. When I say go, we go. When I say stop, we stop. I have my judges. Come here, ladies. Come on. I got 4 judges. What's your name? Hello. Ashlyn.
Nessa. Jaslene.
Catalina. These are my judges. They're going to decide who the champion is. Ready? Go! Let's get down to the chicken. Oh, yeah. Get down to the nitty-gritty. Get all to the gristle. Hey, don't leave no meat on the bone. You got to get it all. You got to have a ball. We got 16, 15 seconds, y'all. 14. Yes, we're counting down. We have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Stop what you're doing. Hold on now. Ladies, slide on in. Yes, slide on in. Who we got, ladies? Talk to me. Huh? What's his name? All right. Hey, no, but listen. Okay, wait. Listen, ladies, who do we have for a winner? What's his name? All right, my winner, Ethan. Give it up. Hey, yes, give him the chicken. Winner, chicken dinner. Give it up. Great job, guys. Hey, great job. He won. He got to the gristle. It was fun. Back to you, Rich. It's all good.
All right, Elwood, thanks a lot. That was pretty cool, Coach. Coach, I told you, defending champions, they don't seem to do well. They should stay out.
It's tough when the running back's going against his lineman.
You're batting 1,000. Why would you have only one way to go, down, when you come back here?
Right.
Everybody wants to get you.
Right.
You know, you saw the look on half those guys' faces. They were loaded. They were dialed in, man. They're ready to go.
Oh, yeah, and I know Figgy wanted to defend.
Yeah,
he wanted to defend for sure.
I'll tell you, man. All right, Coach. So anything else you might want to say? Because we're going to be moving on here in a couple seconds.
You know, like I was just mentioning, we're just blessed to have a great group of kids. You know, our team always says family with a cheer, and a lot of schools do that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we live it. You know, our kids believe it, and we're the Irvine family. And I'm proud of our guys, and our guys come back every year after they graduate, and it means something. Irvine football means something to our guys.
Well, Irvine football, like I say, has been around. It's been around quite a while. I remember, man, back in the day. God, was it the '90s when they were winning some titles? That's all I remember.
Oh yeah, 91, 92.
Yeah, I called one of the championship games.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I just can't remember when it was. We've done so many, I'm telling you.
I'll bet.
It's hard to keep them all compartmentalized. But, you know, you guys have a long story tradition. It's unfortunate that they're kind of busting up the band, so to speak.
Right.
I think it was great you guys having, you know, two leagues, had mostly Irvine schools in it.
And that was great. That was great for our city, for sure.
Yeah, for sure it was. But, you know, what are you going to do? This is considered progress here now.
Yeah.
Remember that. So I don't know how much it is. All right, we're waiting for John Conti to get ready with the next one. All right, so we'll just continue on. So talk about your administration a little bit. Like we had a group in here last week where they had, actually 2 times we had ex-NFL people working in the front office.
Oh, really?
Western Christian. I go, how did you do that? How did you get a pro football, ex-pro baller to be your assistant principal? And he's got their back. So
well, you know, we actually had a fantastic principal in Dr. Kalunga. She was the CIF president for a bunch of years, and she just went on to retire. And then we just got Dr. Jeff Hernandez in. And
all these PhDs,
huh? Oh yeah. You know, and he's a great individual. You know, we've been talking a lot since he came into the school, mm-hmm. and he's all about athletics, and you know, it's funny how you see the contrast between 2 principals, both pro athletics, and the differences between them. So it's been interesting for sure.
Yeah, well, you never know what's going to happen when you get a new administration in there. You know, some people are pro athletics. I remember back in the day, man, some principals that just were not. They didn't care about it, and it showed.
Right, and we're lucky we have that.
It showed, you know. And then years later, we got a principal who cared. And things flourished. Got stadiums, you know. Things started growing again.
Sure, and again, we're lucky to have principals that care about us. You know.
Well, it sounds like you're on your way to having a great season, your first season in the new league. And you're doing your student body and your principal proud, because as goes football season, as goes the school year. Coach, Coach Ricci, thanks again for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Really appreciate you coming out.
Awesome.
And we're going to go to John Conti. Wait a minute. Who's John with? Who's that?
That is Enzo Giuliano.
All right.
His dad is the head coach at Beckman High School.
His dad is his grandfather Dick Giuliano? Might be. Never know. All right, John, go ahead.
All right, standing here with one of my favorite players that I've ever coached. I did have an opportunity to coach Henzo in some spring ball. Of course, his father is the head coach at Beckman High School. We thought we were going to have you at Beckman. You went to Irvine. What happened there?
Honestly, all my friends were going to Irvine, and I lived like 5 minutes away from here, so I just decided to come here. And I'm glad I made that decision because I made a lot of new friends, and I stayed with my childhood friends, and yeah.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Of course, we would have loved to have you at Beckman. You're really coming into your own as a player. Tell me what you like so much about playing tight end, correct?
Yeah, tight end. So the main thing I like about it is catching balls, pretty much. The blocking part, I like it, but I don't know. I like scoring touchdowns and catching the ball.
Got it. Makes perfect. Everybody loves scoring. So let's talk about your GPA. You're another one of those scholar athletes, 4.0 student. How are you able to balance school and football? How can you get it all together?
Honestly, it's all about not procrastinating and right when you get home from practice, like doing what you have to do, even if you don't want to do it, and prioritizing your schoolwork over other stuff. And then, yeah.
You sound like a really good football coach's son. There you go. Henzo, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck the rest of the season at Irvine High School. We'll see you out on the field.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
We got Rich and Steve Calhoun standing by.
All right, thanks a lot, John. All right, Steve, thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
And a lot on the table.
Yes, sir. I am fired
All
up
right.
to be here.
John, check on the video for us. Anyways, we were having issues tonight loading down the Paulie Millikan video. I had a lot of interviews after the game. We were in the locker room.
Yeah.
It was great, man. That game was outstanding.
I missed it. I cannot believe I missed it. I got a chance to see you guys' highlight package, and it was unbelievable. I mean, the defense didn't even show up that night. Not at all. They all stayed back at their campuses.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, you have Anthony League, you got Xavier Jones, all right?
Yes.
I mean, I've seen a lot of great tandems, and there's a lot of great ones.
Yes.
But these guys have got to be near the top of the list.
There's no doubt about it.
Lightning and thunder.
Yes. Just talking about Anthony League, the Cal commit. I had a chance to talk to my good friend and one of my young Jedis, I call him, Keenan Allen, who's a former Cal alumni. And I told him, I said, hey, your school has an unbelievable running back that's committed to there, and he's going to do phenomenal things over the next 4 years.
Wow. And it was so much talent on that field. I mean,
yes.
We just talked about this too right now, but Mielowski made no mistakes. He had 143 quarterback rating that night.
Yeah,
10
definitely.
for 14, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah. I mean, the quarterback was great, but what made everything tick kind of like
the running game.
The running
And
game.
the line.
It's the offensive line.
It's the line. It's the
offensive line. Hey, you guys had the call where you actually went over 1,000 yards that night. Anthony League, we're talking about the offensive line did an unbelievable job. Those guys, kind of like these guys here, behind us, they have an unbelievable offensive line as well, and that's what makes everything tick. Quarterbacks can't do their job. Running backs cannot do their job without those big five guys executing what they got to do every night.
Here's a funny story for you. So I've been in Millikan most of the week and a couple days, and I've been around those linemen, right? Interviewed quite a few of them.
Yes.
And so I asked one of the coaches, I said, hey, what's your offensive line average, the 5 across the front?
Yeah.
He says, I don't know, about 230. I looked at him, I said, you're out of your mind. I go, 230? I go, how about 330?
Exactly.
He goes, oh, no, not that big. And the other coach goes, what are you talking about? We go, how much is your line way up front? He goes, oh, at least 3 1/4. That's a big disparity between two coaches. Now, one, he may not have been a line coach, but he looked like a line coach. He was a huge guy.
Right. No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's what made, I think, both offenses tick, But, hey, I tell you what, one thing right now, Rich, everybody better get their licks in against Long Beach Poly because they have a lot of young talent coming back. The quarterback.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Deuce Jefferson, he's a junior. Kamari Smith, the wide receiver, he's a junior. You got Juju Johnson, another Juju, right? Hey, he's a sophomore. Benjamin Harry, the running back, number 6, unbelievable sophomore. And then the young freshman, Zion Anderson. Unbelievable playmakers, like I said before. Everybody better get their licks in this year because, hey, those guys are all coming back, and they're going to be phenomenal. I'm sure they're going to be competing for the CIF championship. Even though that's a year away, they still have a lot of football to play.
Oh, yeah.
But that game was unbelievable.
Yeah, I was very impressed. I don't know why they wanted the Warren guy, Melvin. I don't know why they wanted him. Right. I mean, you got Deuce, develop him. Look at him.
Exactly.
He looked poised.
No doubt about it.
He looked poised. He never looked rattled. That kid never looked rattled in the game.
No, not at all. And the thing is, I think he got more and more comfortable. As I talked to the offensive coordinator, Renee Medina, and he got more comfortable because he's able to play. And that's the only way you can really learn under fire. I played quarterback, and that's how I learned, through my ups and downs. I was able to look at my mistakes, go back, watch the film, learn from them, and then I was able to come out and play better.
Yep.
And that's exactly what Deuce has been doing this whole year.
Oh, absolutely. And again, let's talk about Benjamin Harris for a minute. Well, first of all, they did not. Deuce did not, and Pauly did not hesitate to go for the end zone with Kamari Smith on the first series.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, they threw the ball, and Deuce threw that. It was right on the money.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. It was almost like whoever's going to have the ball last, and I'm not sure the receiver's name from Pauly caught a little out route, and then he fumbled on the sideline, and then Millikan was able to recover that, and that's when they turned it into points. But they were just going up and down. I think that fumble right there, was one of that turned the tide. Hey, that mo, when you get that mo going, that was turned the tide. And then, hey, 3 plays later, they gave it to Anthony League, and he ran it in end zone. Unbelievable.
And then the big interception.
Yes.
That interception was
fingertips
outstanding.
laid out. Come on. I heard your call on the game. You were like, hey, Bob, he caught that. I mean, fully stretched out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable interception.
Well, I felt confident simply because the referee was right there.
Yeah.
You couldn't
yeah.
see him in the film, but literally he was like probably about 10 yards away.
Exactly.
And he was looking right in it, so he could see the grab, he could see the elbow. The
Yes.
ball was in. I thought, that's a
Yeah.
catch.
No, definitely.
But, I mean, that's a backbreaker.
Yes, it is.
If they don't fumble and the interception doesn't come, we might be talking overtime or something.
Exactly right. Exactly
and again,
right.
it's a coin flip. Who's going to win? We don't know.
You know, I mean, I can't think when the last time Millikan competed like that or even beat Poly. You know, because, I mean, Poly usually just comes to the Moore League, beats up everybody, just kind of gets ready for CIF.
Yep.
So for that program, you know, to turn it around and upset Poly, hey, kudos to them.
Well, I remember talking with Coach after the game and telling him, you know, it's a total team effort today. You know, it wasn't just one or two guys. Although League did stand out, obviously.
Yes.
289 yards rushing.
Unbelievable. 4 touchdowns.
37 yards receiving. Yeah. Ton of touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns called back.
Wow. Yeah, like the stiff arm. I mean the face mask they call.
Yeah.
Come on, referee.
Give me a break.
Come on,
you saw
ref.
that on
hey,
the
you gotta just keep that in your pocket
Listen,
right there,
man,
ref.
that was incredible. And what's up with number 8? What was he doing?
I have no idea.
The other guy on the other side. Remember, there was 2 guys chasing Anthony Lee, and Lee just kept stiff arming and stiff arming and stiff arming and stiff arming.
Number 8 actually went for the strip and not for the tackle.
Yeah.
He went for the strip, missed the ball, and then that's where he was able to get that stiff arm. He was able to run in the end zone.
Man, it was just a great ball game. The second half was nuts. It was a 21-7 third quarter.
Yes.
Millikan just came back, and I asked everybody what kind of speech the coach gave, and everybody just said, "Remember what I told you guys? I got your back. You have my back. We're gonna win." And they went on with it, and they did.
Yes, they did.
Very, very
There's
well
no
indeed.
doubt about it.
That locker room was so jubilant afterward. It was so loud in there.
I'm sure.
So many people.
It's been a while since they beat Long Beach Poly. Been a while.
If we get that video up tonight, I will definitely have it up. 1 minute? No, I'll definitely have it up tomorrow for you guys at Millikan. That's a keepsake for those guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean, you win a game like this, it's historical. It's a 51-year drought.
Exactly.
51 years is a long time, man.
You know what? Hey, just kind of capitalizing on that. There are some unbelievable games coming up this week again. I'm not sure if we're going to have another segment to really get into some of the games that are coming up this week, but I know there's another one at SoFi.
Yep. All right, Elwood, make it quick. Let's go.
All right, thank you, Rich. I had to snatch up the cheerleaders from Irvine. Won't y'all ladies introduce yourselves?
I'm Jasleen. I'm Vanessa. I'm Catalina.
Kathleen, these are all my captains. I have one question. What do you guys love about cheering at Irvine?
I love the way we can bond with our other teammates, and we've had made so many friendships throughout the year, and it's so special.
And I was told you lady has something to say. Let me pass you the mic.
We just want to wish you a happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Wow. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you.
In the past, I'll blow it up. I'll just wipe it like that. Hey, thank you, ladies. I knew they had something up their sleeves, but I appreciate you ladies for coming out and interviewing me, and have a great rest of the season. Thank you. Back to you, Rich.
There's some good games.
All right, thanks a lot, Elwood. Happy birthday, man. Who knew?
Yes.
All right. So, Larry, we're not going to get that video going? Nope.
Nope. That's all right. We still got some good games to talk about this upcoming
let's
week.
go for it. Let's go. I knew better. I should have known better. Go ahead.
Hey, so just talking about, there's a lot of drama going on at St. John Bosco. You know, the starting quarterback, Matai Fiava, the starting quarterback, transfers to Kahuku in Hawaii.
I don't get that.
He's the starting quarterback.
What's the point in that?
I have no idea what happened there, but I know he got hurt, had a shoulder injury, he missed a couple of games. Then the freshman Koa Maliuna came in, played a couple of really, really good games. And I don't know if they were saying, okay, now we're going to rotate you or not. But from what I understand, there was no communication to Coach Negro. He just jumped on a plane and flew over to Hawaii, and he's eligible to play this week for Kahuku against Campbell High School.
Why would – man, there has to be some great consideration being given, man. Come on.
He said Dole Pineapple. Come on, a little
Oh,
NIL deal.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
a little Dole
NIL.
NIL. Oh, let's go.
I smell Dole all over
Yeah.
that deal. Why not?
Absolutely. You know, hey, we're talking about another game at SoFi this week. Bosco Servite.
How come SoFi's packing in games now?
I think they just want to be
the value.
Yeah, I think they, just want to be a part of the community, be a part of that big high school scene. With Bosco coming in, had Mater Day there, a couple of weeks ago. Again, like we just talked about, Bosco's going to be starting that freshman. Hey, it gets a really, really good Servite team. Servite has not had their starting quarterback there. His name is Leo Hannon, that's committed to Michigan State, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, but I think they expect him back here in a couple of weeks. And so once they get him back, Servite is going to be a team to beat.
Wow.
Right? Coming up.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So what's Bosco going to do now?
I think they're just going to ride the freshmen. But you have so many athletes. You have the unbelievable wide receiver. Let me look. Madden Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really, really good. He's one of the top receivers in the state of California, and as well as the country.
Just throw it up and he'll run
Just
under
throw it up. He's going to
He'll
get it. He's going to go get it.
Outleap anybody. Just
Yeah.
I love those guys.
I got a question for you, Rich. Do you think anybody is going to challenge Mission Viejo in their league?
No. Santameni's dreaming. They're not going to. Santameni couldn't even beat them when they weren't ranked in the top 10 nationally,
Right.
so they're not going to beat them this week. I'm sorry. Nobody's beaten Mission Viejo in the public school realm.
Yes.
The only guys that have a chance at beating Mission Viejo this year is Mater Day. I don't think Servite, Jay Sarah, none of those other guys can beat Mission Viejo this year. They're just too loaded. Their line can match anybody else's line except Mater Day.
Yes.
Mater Day's line is bigger than Millikan's.
Wow.
Millikan's line, they got 325, 30 pounds across the front, at least.
Yes.
And, no, man, those guys over there in Mater Day are just big.
Yeah,
Big.
that's going to be a really, really good game.
They won't play. If Mission's not going to be in Division I, then they probably, even though they I don't see how they can't be.
Yeah, but hey, just talking about, Jaime Ortiz, good friend of mine, head coach of Sacramento. He has Dawson Martinez. If you don't, that name doesn't sound familiar. His brother's name was Taylor Martinez, Corona Centennial, Nebraska great. So he's an unbelievable athlete playing quarterback for San Clemente. So I think if he has a great game running and throwing, I think he can keep San Clemente around for a little bit. Keep him around. But I think at the end of the day, Mission Viejo has too many horses, and they should go in that favor right there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Man.
But hey, talking about the quarterback play here in Orange County, there's one guy that really has been standing out. I've been kind of following, had the opportunity to train him. Xavier Guest from El Medina High School.
Okay, talk about him.
He just broke the passing record for El Medina in passing yards. He's almost at 5,000 yards, and he's 3 behind the passing, the touchdown record. He's at 47. The record is 50.
Wow.
Okay? He's committed to
He's got
UC
3 games
Davis.
to get it.
Yeah, he got 3
He'll
games to get it.
He'll get it.
Yeah, he's committed to UC Davis
by
right now.
halftime this week.
Hey, he's unbelievable. I just think he doesn't get a lot of press, a lot of notoriety about how well he's playing. He's a 4.48, okay, sprint 10-700 meter guy.
Yeah,
unbelievable, left-handed. And hey, I'm absolutely knocking down doors. Reaching out to my college contacts, trying to get him. I ain't gonna say a better offer, but I just really think he can play at a higher level.
Yeah,
okay? Nothing wrong with UC Davis. If that's the only thing that ends up being there, then he has an opportunity, doesn't have to pay for school, and he can still continue to fulfill his dream.
But you know what? A degree from UC Davis is worth a lot.
Exactly.
I mean, UC Davis isn't like going to a state school or even going to a private school like UC. It's a medical school.
There you go. Absolutely.
You're going to med school when you go to UC Davis. That's where you're going. So
exactly.
I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You get a bachelor's from there.
Yes, no doubt about it. I got another question for you.
Sure.
Have you been following Dana Hills High School?
No, I have not.
Tony Henney. They're 6-0 right now, led by Vanden Duggar. He's a quarterback transfer from Arizona.
Uh-huh.
I can't think when the last time they've been undefeated. So that's another team to watch right there.
They were touting something about I was reading something about 3 brothers. I don't know, 3 years ago that won 10 in a row.
Yeah.
Now there's 3 younger brothers that have something to do with it, and they're on their way to 10 in a row.
Yeah, Dana Hills, they really turned it around last year. It was the first time they actually won their league, and I'm not in several years, with a young sophomore. So you're talking about some adversity. You have a young sophomore who led his team. They won league, and then you have a transfer come in, okay, where he had to actually sit, and watch this older guy, But hey, it all turned out for the best. They're 6-0 right now. They're absolutely rolling. So I just want to give a shout out to Coach Henney and the Dana Hills high school football team.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
What is going on with the Southern section letting, I don't know if they had to let them, but come on, man. Concord de la Salle played in Europe last night.
Absolutely. You know, and they actually played against the NFL
Academy.
NFL Academy.
And they whipped them,
Yes,
31-9,
they did.
as they should have, though.
They should have, yeah.
Yeah.
But there is some really, really good players, you know. Every year, as you know, I go over to Europe, you know, Germany, London, do a lot of football quarterback receiver camps over there, and the talent level is unbelievable. Hey, I would say another 1 or 2 years, and that game would not be 31-9. It'll be a lot closer.
All right. Hey, listen, they're giving me the high sign right now. I'm
Absolutely.
getting the evil eye over here.
Yeah.
And everything else, so we better get out of here, man.
Okay, that sounds good.
Listen, Steve, we got to get on the air tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
We can cut this Millikan thing because it's worth seeing. We're seeing the aftermath of the game, seeing what happens in the locker rooms of a big Division I program.
Yes, sir.
And just the kids were fantastic interviews.
Yes,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
All right, we're going to go out to the cheerleaders out on the lanai.
There we go.
Good night, everybody.
Go Big Green!